Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. John Hammonds and I are here tonight to do our game day pick'ems for NCAA baseball tournament regions special. All right, guys, welcome back. It is Brad with College SportsCast. What's up, Hammonds? It's been a little while since we were on.
It's been a little bit, man. Been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, man, I've had a ton. You've had stuff, and we just haven't been on for a little while. But we are glad to be back. The NCAA baseball tournament starts today, and we are here to kind of do a game day pick'em on the NCAA baseball tournament. The regions, first rounds is broke down into four teams per region. We're going to kind of go through these regions here today. But first, I do want to mention on Facebook, if you're with us on Facebook, you can help support us by sending stars or subscribe to our channel. Subscription is only 99 cents a month. And you do get a special subscribers page that is just for just for you guys when you do that as well. But sending stars or subscribing will help support us and allow us to keep doing these shows for you guys. So our Facebook page is growing drastically. And if you are on YouTube, we appreciate you being with us as well, trying to get that to grow as well. So start with that. And then, John, we're actually going to start with the college baseball scoreboard today. The game started at noon Eastern time today, so we have some finals already. The first final of the day, first game of today that started today was actually Kentucky. I don't know if you caught any of the Kentucky game today against Western Michigan, but in their region, they're the one. Western Michigan was the 4. We'll get to that a little bit more, but the final score in this game was 10-8. Did you catch any of the game?
Yeah, a little bit of it. I caught. I was watching FSU and Stetson earlier.
Yeah. But the final score is 10-8 in this game. Kentucky jumped out early, had an 8-0 lead heading into the 5th inning. You have a double elimination weekend here. You're hosting the region, and the coach took out the starter, put in some middle relieves, and they got to them early. That's Kentucky's Achilles heel. Here is the middle relief pitchers. They scored 8 runs in 2 innings. Luckily, Kentucky tacked on a couple of runs and wins 10-8 in this game against the MAC tournament winner, actually, Western Michigan. So he was talking about Florida State and Stetson. Florida State wins in this one. They are the 1 seed in their region as well. 1 versus 4, they win 7-2. In the Charlottesville region, you had Virginia beating Penn 4-2. In the Chapel Hill region, LSU, the 2 seed, had a walk-off and was behind against Wofford. But LSU wins with a walk-off 4-3. This is like their 3 of their last 4 wins have been walk-offs. Like they've been, I mean, coming from behind and winning like this for a while now seems a big upset today in the Clemson region, I think, is Coastal Carolina smacks Vanderbilt 13-3.
Yeah, that was pretty. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, Vanderbilt down the stretch, they didn't play well. I'm just going to be honest; they haven't played well down the stretch. But early in the year, I mean, this is a team that was ranked inside the top 5. I'm almost positive. Early in the year, looked like they were playing and going to be a contender. And Coastal Carolina, they won it all in 2016. I mean, it's not like they're a bad team. Coastal Carolina in baseball is a really good team. But to get smacked 13-3 in the opening round here is pretty eye-opening for Vanderbilt. Another game that's final that is an upset here in the Greenville region. East Carolina is the number 1 seed, and they lose today to Evansville 4-1.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. Even if they lose this game, it's sort of like I've always said, it's sort of like the tournament, the SEC tournaments. You lose tomorrow, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
like you're in big time trouble.
Well, I mean, it's double. These things are double elimination, but East Carolina's the host here in this region.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a host, you should be. Some of these teams,
so they're the 1 seed in their region. They're the 16th 1 seed, but in their region, they're the 1 seed, and they lose to the 4 seed Evansville 4-1 today at home. In the Knoxville region, the 2-3 here. Indiana beats Southern Miss 10-4. In the Norman region, UConn beats Duke. Duke is the ACC winner of the tournament. UConn upsets Duke 4-1 in that region. So those are finals. And then let me scroll back up.
James Madison's up 7-5 over South Carolina, so that could be.
Yeah, I'm going to scroll back up and go through. There's some games that are going on currently. Texas A&M is beating Grambling in the bottom of the 8th, 8-0. Georgia has had to come from behind in the top of the 9th. They are ahead 8-7 versus Army. They've been behind in this game almost all day. James Madison is leading South Carolina. South Carolina in the Raleigh region. This is in NC State. James Madison's leading 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th. Arkansas at Fayetteville, the Fayetteville region, is leading Southeast Missouri 8-4. In the Santa Barbara region, you got Oregon up 1-0 on San Diego in the bottom of the 5th. In the Tucson region, West Virginia is leading Dallas Baptist. And baseball fans will know Dallas Baptist is a pretty well-known baseball team.
They're well known for their baseball.
Absolutely. Dallas Baptist is a great team. West Virginia is leading 4-0 in the bottom or the top of the 6th. In the Stillwater region, Florida is ahead of Nebraska 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th. In the Corvallis region, UC Irvine is ahead of Nichols 3-1 in that region. And that will conclude the current scoreboard for what is going on today in the regions, first round of the regions in the NCAA tournament. So from there, we are going to open it up. The number one overall seed in this tournament is the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yep.
And so they are hosting. They are the top team. They are hosting in the Knoxville region.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you guys earlier on the scoreboard that Indiana and Southern Miss was playing today. Indiana won that game 10-4. And tonight, Tennessee plays Northern Kentucky, and that's the 4 seed in that region, 1 versus 4. So that's the 4 teams. Southern Miss has already lost. Indiana moves on. We'll play the winner of the Tennessee Northern Kentucky game, and then the 2 losers match up tomorrow, knocking one of them out. That's how this works. So, and then the winner of that game will match up with the winner here. So, I mean, it's a double elimination bracket here. And Tennessee they've been lights out all year. Great team. I can't imagine that you're going to pick another team out of the Knoxville region here.
Yeah, they're the proverbial favorite at this point. Especially, not even that region, the whole thing. Like they got Christian Moore. They're solid.
They're hitting. They have Christian Moore, and he's their leadoff, and he's great. Okay, he's fantastic actually. But they have like 1 through 8, 1 through 9. I mean, their hitting is just off the charts.
It's off the charts. Like all through 1 through 9. Like they just got it. They got the chance to go to Omaha. And actually,
I have to throw this out. I do have to throw this out. Since 1998, when they started doing the 1 through 64 here in the top overall seed has only advanced and won the championship 1 time.
Yeah.
Since 1998.
That's what I was going to bring up. Everybody wants that overall number 1 seed, but it's not been very kind to a lot of teams.
And that was actually Miami in 1998. It has not happened since. For the number 1 overall seed.
Instead of being the prey, you're the hunted in this department. And
I do have to talk about that, but we're not picking overall like College World Series.
I know. I was just kind of going with
region winners here. I can't imagine Tennessee getting knocked out at home in the in the region round here, in the regional round, against Indiana tomorrow. This looks like who they will be playing. I can't imagine Northern Kentucky beats them. Listen, the Horsemen up there in Northern Kentucky, they've had a good year. They won their conference tournament. That's how they're in here. But let's be real. They got a tall task tonight.
A very tall task, yeah.
I mean, I'm going with Tennessee here in this region. And
to me, it's sort of like you and the sharing button where you've been put in Facebook jail.
Yeah.
I had to pull that one out of the hat.
Hey, I'm just going to throw it out there. That happens to me at least once a month. So, I'm getting kind of used to it by now.
Yeah.
All right. The number 2 overall seed is the Kentucky Wildcats. So the Lexington region. I've already talked to you guys about the opening game. Kentucky defeated Western Michigan 10-8. Later tonight, Illinois takes on Indiana State. Indiana State is the 2 seed, and Indiana State is ranked in the top 25 here. This is not your normal, run-of-the-mill. Indiana State is a great baseball school.
Yeah, they're a great team.
They host regions on occasion. I mean, they had a chance to host one this time. They've won 40 games, I think, this year. I mean, they're no slouch in this region, and they play Illinois tonight. If they beat Illinois, Kentucky and Indiana State will match up tomorrow for the first time. And, this region, Western Michigan, there are 3 conference champions in this region, including Kentucky with a regular season champion share with Tennessee. But there are 3, whether it be regular season or conference tournament, there are 3 conference champions in this region. Kentucky is back-to-back hosting. They hosted last year. They absolutely have to get through this region. I know Indiana State's going to be a tough one, but I got to pick the Cats here.
Yeah, that's who I'm going with.
All right. The next region that we're going to talk about is Texas A&M. We got College Station here, Bryan College Station here, the region, Texas A&M. So Texas A&M is playing Grambling. I told you the score was like 8-0 in the top or bottom of the 8th. That's the current score. And then later tonight, Texas and Louisiana play in this region as well. That's the matchup in here. Texas A&M has a pitcher that's really great. They have some hitters that can hit the long ball. I mean, Texas is in here. Texas and Texas A&M hate each other. I mean, I just don't see Texas A&M as the third overall seed here. I just don't see them losing here at home in this region. What do you think?
Nah, the only really tough team that, can kind of get in their way to me in this region is Texas. The others, I'm not so sure about. I just think Texas A&M is going to move on and they're going to head to the Super Regionals.
The Super Region. That's what. So the winner here, basically, if you are a March Madness fan, the winner here basically moves on to Sweet 16.
Yeah,
there's 16 regionals. There'll be 16 teams left when these regions.
Yep.
So it's basically you're moving on to the Sweet 16. That's what you're going to have after this week.
It's just a different pronunciation for it.
It's a different format, but basically what you're going to have is the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
After this weekend. So the next region is a very interesting one. This is the Chapel Hill region, and North Carolina, who was the ACC regular season and lost to Duke in the conference championship, or lost to Duke in the tournament. They're the overall number 1 seed here, but LSU landed the 2 seed in this region. LSU come back from behind and beat Warford 4-3 on a walk-off. I told you guys that earlier. And North Carolina is the overall number 1 seed here, and they play later on tonight. Long Island, I believe, is who they play.
Play Long Island, yeah.
LIU. What do you think on this one, John?
I know everybody's going to say, well, you have the SEC bias and you're going to continue to say it, but how can you not pick LSU in this bracket?
They've been so hot lately.
Yep. It to me, it's going to come down to North Carolina and LSU. When it all boils down to it, that's who will be playing for the chance to go to the Super Regionals. And right now, with Tommy Tanks,
I mean, he's hitting them like everywhere. I mean, it's just like
I'm telling you, man. Like LSU.
What's turned them around is they have 2 pitchers now that are just been lights out.
Yeah, their pitching has come on especially in the SEC tournament. They put it together.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Man, I tell you, I think I'm going to go LSU this time.
This is North Carolina's region, so that means LSU has to upset them in Chapel Hill.
Well, and I know people get tired of the, SEC coverage media, but you got to look at how many
LSU's the defending champ. They got Tommy Tanks back. They've got more than just him back. They're going to be a tough out here, guys. They are going to be
and the SEC is just so good. Kentucky,
they were the 11th seed in the SEC tournament, and they made the finals.
And lost to Tennessee.
Only lost to Tennessee by one run.
One run, yeah. So it's not like that they're losing back. Like they was early in the year, but they picked it up towards the end of the year, and especially going into tournament play. So they got an opportunity to win this.
SEC bias. Here we go. I'm going LSU in this region. You got to have a few upsets. This is going to be one of them for me.
I think LSU's got a shot in this one. I do.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. North Carolina can win this at home. I'm not saying they can. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. You're going to come down to, one of them's got to beat the other one twice, and we'll see which one wins. But I can't go chalk all the way down through here. So I'm going to pick the 2 seed over the 1 in this one. All right, Fayetteville region. We have Southeast Missouri as the 4 seed versus Arkansas. And that game is should be on right now. And then later tonight, you've got Kansas State versus Louisiana Tech.
Arkansas, last I looked, was up 8-4. Probably the only team in this region that's probably going to give Arkansas much of a fight is Kansas State. I don't think these other two are going to give them much push. Maybe Louisiana Tech, but Arkansas is hard to beat at home. Arkansas is –
they're playing at probably home, the best pitcher in baseball. I'm going to give them that, Hagen Smith.
Yeah, the problem is
they don't have a awesome third starter. So, and their second starter's good, but he's not Hagen Smith good. But
and another thing, like I was saying,
2 pretty good pitchers.
Yeah, and Baum, they're hard to beat at the Hog Pen. Like when that place is packed and going, Arkansas is tough to beat there. So I just don't think.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I got to go Arkansas, and I know that I'm going SEC so far. I realize that, but maybe we will change it up here in this region.
Maybe the SEC is really good, and people need to realize that. So,
well, the SEC is really good in baseball. They're the number 1 conference in baseball by far for a reason. ACC is pretty good. I'm not going to say they're not. They got 5 region hosts here as well. So this is one of them. You got the Clemson region. In this one, the 1 seed, of course, is the Clemson Tigers. They're playing High Point later tonight, and they get Coastal Carolina and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's the 3 seed. I'm not saying Coastal Carolina shouldn't have beat them. Coastal Carolina's the 2 seed here. Coastal is always – they were on the bubble, but they're always in the tournament. They won it all in 2016. So I'm not saying – that they, but 13-3 with Vandy today is kind of eye-popping.
I want to tell you, Coastal, if I'm Clemson and some of these teams in this little regional, I'd be wary of Coastal. Coastal is, take it back 2-3 years ago, they actually won the champion. They actually won the College World Series. So, this team's not to be messed around with. Like, they went in today and they just weather whooped Vanderbilt. And just gonna just kind of give it out there that Coastal's not a team to look over.
I mean, I'm leaning Clemson here at home. But I'm going to be honest with you. This Coastal Carolina team scares me in this region just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
And you got Vandy sitting there. They've got some hitters. I just don't think, after today getting whipped 13-3, I don't see that them being able to make a comeback here. I think it's going to come down to Coastal or Clemson. I'm going to take Clemson here in this region at home.
Yeah, because now pressure is going to be on Vanderbilt, and it's to win, and that's going to be tough.
Although Coastal's not going to be an easy out. Clemson's going to have to play ball to beat them. All right, we're going to move on to the Athens region. So Georgia and Army was playing in the top of the ninth. It was 8-7. I'm not sure how that game finished. But Georgia's hosting here. They're the 1 seed. Army's the 4. Army had led this entire game. Later tonight, you got Georgia Tech versus UNC Wilmington. That's the 2 and the 3 seed here. And this
Georgia won 8-7.
8-7. Okay. So they advanced in their home region here, 8-7, which is a good win for them. Charlie Condon and company get the win here to go advance.
I will say what's interesting to me though is West Virginia's beating Dallas Baptist 4-0 the way they are. Dallas Baptist is good. So
we'll get
West
to that
Virginia's
region here in a minute.
What?
So you got Georgia Tech, UNC Wilmington, and Georgia and Army. Listen, I think Georgia gets through here, but the way they played today kind of worries me a little bit. With Army being the 4 here and them leading most of it, I know they got the win, so maybe they knocked the rust off. And you got Georgia Tech in the region later, probably that they will match up. Of course, that's a rival with Georgia. But Georgia's been really good all year. Won 17 games in the SEC. So I'm going to go Georgia here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Georgia, even though that they had their struggles today against Army. I still think they got a good team, and Charlie Condon's really, really great player. So I think they can get it done in this region.
All right, so we're going to go to the Tallahassee region. They won today. Florida State beat Stetson 7-2. And then later tonight, you got UCF versus Alabama. It's going to be interesting here. Alabama, SEC. You got UCF, Big 12.
This
Florida State, ACC.
I think Florida State wins this, but I think it's going to come down to them and Alabama, though. Alabama has had a pretty decent year. In SEC, they started out really great, and then they kind of fell off a little bit, but they still made the tournament.
Yeah.
But I think that between them and Florida State will be Sunday, and I think Florida State will move on to the Super. I think Florida State's got a good baseball program.
They do. They have for a long time, and I kind of agree here with you. I think I'm going to take the ACC over the SEC here. Going to shock the world and pick Florida State over Alabama here. I like this Alabama team. I think they will probably get to the finals here in this region here with Florida State. I think I like this Florida State team just a little bit better. I think they have had a little better of a season. It's at home. They don't lose games at home much. So give me Florida State. All right. The next one, people say this might be the toughest region. This is the Norman region.
Yeah, that's the one that's
the Norman region is Duke and UConn. UConn has already beaten Duke here, the 2 and the 3 here. Duke was the 2. They beat them 4-1 here. And then you get Oklahoma, as the 1, and they get Oral Roberts. And you guys might not realize it. You guys might not realize it, but Oral Roberts is a really good baseball school, just like I was talking about with Dallas Baptist and Coastal Carolina. So maybe not quite at that level, but they're a pretty good baseball school, and they're in the 4, and they play tonight. Who do you have here in this region?
I have Oklahoma winning this one. I just think that they'll get it done. They've had a good season so far, but I think for me, it's going to come down to them and Duke. I think even though Duke lost today, I think Duke will figure it out.
That's the surprise. I mean, Duke had been playing so well down the stretch.
They had.
It's surprising to see them lose to UConn.
But UConn has done this some all year long. They had a few games early in the year where they pulled some games out of the hat, upsets. But I think when it's all said and done, Duke will figure it out, and they'll get back to. I think they'll get back to Sunday.
Yeah, get back to Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I was gonna say Duke could win this after the score today, I'm gonna go Boomer Sooner here.
Yeah, but I'm on Oklahoma to win the regional.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Boomer Sooner here in the region here for that one. So the next region is the Raleigh region. This one's NC State. They're playing Bryant later tonight. And then this is the one where James Madison was beating South Carolina a little bit ago, 7-5. South Carolina is the one that I would have thought would, because they got some hitters. It's pitching
the top of the 9th.
Questionable for them.
It's top of the 9th right now. 1 out. So South Carolina's going to get another chance at it. James Madison's batting right now. So
is it still 7-5?
It's still 7-5, James Madison. So and by the way, Southeast Missouri State has tied Arkansas at 8 in the 5th inning. So
okay.
In the top, I think it's the top of the 5th. Yep, top of the 5th. So it's 8-8.
I know they did start Hagen Smith.
No, there's no way. I mean,
100%. I bet you they didn't start Hagen Smith. No.
So
they will tomorrow if they lose this.
Yeah, they will tomorrow. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yep. You can bet your dollar on that one.
Guaranteed. I bet you $100 right now.
Yep. So
if they lose. Yeah. All right. So in this region, man, I mean, this region's NC State is tough at home. They have a really good baseball program.
They do.
But God, South Carolina was the team that I really was going to be the upset team here. But they may get manhandled here by James Madison in the first game. That puts a damper on things.
I'm gonna go with the Cinderella in this one. We haven't really done the Cinderella yet. We've pretty much had, chalk. I think I'm gonna take James Madison to pull the upset in this regional. James Madison's got a good baseball team.
They do.
and I'm really leaning towards them pulling the upset here and shocking this whole region out of whack. Because if South Carolina loses this game, they're going to have a tough climb getting back, in my opinion.
They are. Absolutely.
Because
I agree with that. 100%.
You know, especially with NC State in there, you know. I mean, Bryant, I think NC State can handle them, but it's going to be a tough thing for South Carolina to figure things out after this.
I guess I'm going ACC and going Wolfpack here. I really, the Gamecocks were going to be the one that I thought would get there and challenge them. But maybe James Madison can do it. I don't know.
Never say never.
But I'm gonna take North Carolina in that one. Then we're gonna go to the Stillwater region. Of course, you got Oklahoma State versus Niagara as the 4 seed later tonight. And then right now, Florida is taking on Nebraska. And I'm assuming Florida's the 3 seed in this, and Nebraska would be the 2.
Yeah. Florida is ahead 3-1, the bottom of the 6. So they're ahead of Nebraska. Which Florida in this region, Florida in this region is better than their record, but they're still they're the team that's kind of coming in that needs to prove themselves because the other teams have got better records and such.
Yeah.
And
so Florida made it to the finals last year. They got Jack Caglione, the second or the top hitter last year, home run hitter. And now he's second this year behind Charlie Condon. And he's their Sunday starter, a great pitcher as well. So, I mean, gosh, if they get to Sunday, I think I'm taking the Florida Gators here.
Yeah, if they get to Sunday, I'm putting my money on the Gators because I wouldn't want to play them in a win all take situation, especially with their experience getting to Omaha and getting to the Super Regionals.
LSU last year in the finals, College World Series finals.
What I mean, like they got experience. They got guys that know that they've been there before to Omaha Super Regionals. I wouldn't want to face the Gators in a chance to go to the Super Regionals. That's just me.
I'm telling you, they're up on Nebraska. If they can hold this and they can get to Sunday, I'm taking the Gators here, man.
I'm with you. I'm gonna go with the Gators too.
All right, the next one is Charlottesville region. This one is Virginia 4-2 on Penn early today, and then tonight you've got Mississippi State versus St. John's in this region. Mississippi State is a team that had come on the last half of the season, and honestly, I was kind of shocked that they're not a region host.
Yeah, I think where they did not get it was early in the year when they struggled.
They weren't good early in the year, but they found something.
They found a groove and they figured it out towards the end of the year, and they got hot during the tournament.
About the middle
really well.
They really played well.
They did. I'm tempted to take Mississippi State in this one. I really am. I like Virginia, but I'm tempted to take the Bulldogs here because they've been there before. They know how to win games when it matters. I'm not saying Virginia hasn't, but Mississippi State won the championship 2 years ago, I think. So they 3 years ago. They know they've been there. I'm telling you, man, some of these SEC schools with how they've been to Omaha Super Regionals, they know what it takes to get there.
Listen, it's very hard not to take Mississippi State here. They have been playing so well. I think I'm going to have to take the Bulldogs, and I'm SEC biased.
Especially if it gets to Sunday. especially if it gets to Sunday, you got to take your chances with some of these SEC schools because they're, a chance to really do damage and get to the College World Series, probably the Super Regionals, and have an opportunity to win it all. Like, I would put my faith in their team and their squad.
Well, that gets us to the Tucson region.
Is this the last region?
And you get – no, there's a few more here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So the Tucson here is Arizona versus Grand Canyon. And then you got the West Virginia versus Dallas Baptist. And you said West Virginia was still leading 4-0 the last you looked against Dallas Baptist here. Tough region here with Dallas Baptist, this West Virginia team leading.
I think here though is if Dallas Baptist loses this game, to me it's going to be a tough climb because you got West Virginia in there, you got Arizona. I still like Arizona in this region. Arizona's a really good baseball team. They've been good all year long.
State, who everybody thought was going to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, they beat Oregon State. So I look for Arizona to get to the Super Regionals. I think it comes down to me between Oregon State, Arizona and West Virginia. When it really boils down to it, I think I'm going to take
the Arizona Wildcats here in this one. They've been playing really well. They come from behind and beat Oregon State, I think, for the regular season title, and then they beat them in the conference as well, the conference championship as well, tournament as well. And like they've been playing really good lately. And I think I'm going to take Arizona at home in their own region here in this one, which leads me to the Santa Barbara region. We've got UC Santa Barbara as the 1 seed here, taking on Fresno State later tonight. And then Oregon is taking on San Diego, and that game is currently being played right now. I had done an update earlier, but I'm not exactly sure what the score is. It was nothing, Oregon and San Diego.
It's 3-1 Oregon, bottom of the 7th. So, to me, I think – I don't know, man. I think that Oregon has a shot here. But I just think UC Santa Barbara is going to be the favorite and the pick here, just the solid pick. But I think Oregon gets to Sunday though, and I think they got a shot to get to the Super Regionals. In this,
I mean, I think it probably comes down to Oregon and UC Santa Barbara here. I mean, UC Santa Barbara is a California team. They're Division I. A lot of people, they don't realize, that are basketball and football fans. They are a really, really good team. Before the last 20, 30 years when the SEC started kind of taking over baseball, UC Santa Barbara was one of those California teams that won a lot of titles.
Well, and if you think about the name UC Santa Barbara, you think about college basketball too. They got a good college basketball team.
Yeah, but their baseball program for years and years has been top notch. They have a great team here. And Oregon has come on a lot over the last 10, 15 years with their program. So, but I'm going to take UC Santa Barbara at home in this region.
Yeah, I am too.
And then we got two more to do. We've got the Corvallis region. This is Oregon State, guys. Oregon State got knocked off by Arizona. I already said that a few minutes ago. But Oregon State has been a top 10 team all year long. They are the premier program in the Pac-12.
Adley Rushman.
It's a shame what happened to the Pac-12. And I'm not sure where Oregon State goes from here with their baseball program. They figured out everything else, but their baseball program's not included in this.
Adley Rushman.
Yeah.
He's a legend at Oregon State.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're taking on Tulane later tonight, and then Nichols and UC Irvine are the 2-3 seed in their region here.
Yep.
And UC Irvine is a good baseball program as well.
They are. I think Oregon State wins this one. It's top heavy for Oregon State to take care of business in this one. Now maybe UC Irvine makes it close, but I think when it's all said and done, I think Oregon State will get the job done. Oregon State's a good baseball team.
They are one of the better programs. They're one of the better programs in all the West.
Yeah, they're one of the top programs in the West. So give me Oregon State in this region. I think they get to the Super Regionals. Yeah,
I think they're going to bounce back off of a couple of tough losses from Arizona over the last week to 10 days. Corvallis is a tough place to play. And I think I'm going to take Oregon State here. The last one, the 16 seed, the 16 number 1 seed is East Carolina. I've already told you guys they lost today, opening round of their own region here, 4-1 to the 4 seed Evansville. That's a tough one for them.
Yeah,
they get
this early.
They get Wake Forest. Okay, it's their 2 seed. Wake Forest was in the Final Four last year for the College World Series.
I don't like this for ECU, to be honest. Especially losing today, they need to take care of business today. Especially at home. But
Wake Forest takes on VCU later tonight. What do you think here? I mean, it's a tough one with East Carolina losing already.
I think you got to go Wake, don't you? I think Wake's in the top there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wake's been ranked. They were high in the top 5 early preseason, and they fell out, but they climbed all the way back inside the top 15.
Well,
Wake Forest
ECU's had a great year, East Carolina, but Wake is just one of those teams that
East Carolina is a great baseball school. It's a surprising school.
I wouldn't want to take a chance at playing on Sunday with an opportunity to go and playing a team like Wake. Just would not. That's just me.
Yeah, I think I got to go Wake Forest here after East Carolina's already lost one.
I'm going Wake in this region.
Yeah, I mean, that means East Carolina's got to win every game the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, that's tough.
They can't lose another. They've already lost their game. Yeah. So Wake has some, Omaha experience. I'm going to take Wake Forest here in this one.
And it's tough to have to.
That concludes our 16 teams.
See, here's the thing that I tell people about the college baseball thing. Where it's a double elimination. If you win the first game, you're sitting pretty, right? You lose the first game, you have to win all weekend.
You got to win out.
It's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to be on target nonstop the entire weekend, and to me that's just tough.
Yep, it is. They got to sweep. It is at home, but they got to sweep from here on out. That means that you have to win. You have to beat Wake Forest not once, but twice.
Maybe twice. That's tough.
Maybe twice. Because VCU technically could beat them. But
yeah, somebody could beat them, yeah, but
I mean, technically VCU could beat them. I mean, I get that. But more than likely, you're going to have to beat Wake Forest not once, but twice.
Yep, twice.
All right. So that concludes our baseball picks. That's our regions. Next week, we will talk about the super regionals, and we will do some picks on the super regionals. And that gets you down to the College World Series, which gets you down to basically, if you're a March Madness fan, it gets you down to the Elite Eight. There are 8 teams that make the College World Series.
It's one of the greatest things in the world.
There are 8 teams that make the College World Series, and it's a double elimination thing. It restarts double elimination, and there are 8 teams that go to Omaha.
Here's my thing. I consider the College World Series to be one of the biggest things next to March Madness and these others. Like it's a big deal to get there for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Kentucky's never been. I would love to see them go, but they got a long ways to go to get there this weekend and next weekend if they do.
Yep. Omaha is a sweet place too. It's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful baseball stadium.
Atmosphere. It's a beautiful atmosphere there at the College World Series as well.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Great place to take your kids and families and go. I mean, it's just a beautiful place to go. So if you've never been, take your kids because it's awesome. The SEC has had meetings this week, and there's been some stuff come out. Of course, they've talked about this new settlement. John and I have already talked about this way before other people were even thinking that it was going to be true. They've already passed and voted on this settlement. It's done. But the SEC meetings, there's a couple of interesting things that come out, and I want to ask you about. So the SEC so far has stuck with an 8-game schedule in conference play. They've got it set up for this year, and they actually had already announced the same schedule, an 8-game schedule for 2025. But there's some reports out of the SEC meetings yesterday that now with the revenue share and the budget cuts, because they have to pay the back pay on all this and everything, and they're going to lose millions of dollars in the SEC's revenue share. That means the teams are going to get cut. They're not going to get as much. And there's talk, John, that they're thinking about going to a 9-game schedule in conference play. And if they do that, it'll be about a $4 to $5 million boost for each team in their cuts.
And then and a few of those, they'll lose some of the non-conference games.
So, yes, I think it will cut out some of the non-conference games. Louisville and Kentucky might be one of them,
which I think would hurt a few teams in this conference. Just based on bowl.
But in the long run, when you play Louisville and Kentucky game, I mean, yes, when it's at home, your team makes money because of ticket sales and that kind of stuff. But when the game is on the road, you don't make any money off of that.
No, you don't make much money on the road games. You mostly win those at home.
Yeah, you don't make any money off of that. Whereas if you're playing a 9th game in the SEC and you can make $4 million each year, and you get the home revenue.
Well, and then you add Oklahoma and Texas, and then you got more revenue to start with. So I mean, money-wise, it kind of makes sense. It does.
If they add that 9th game. Makes me wonder.
Especially now that they got the new TV thing with ABC, that a lot of these teams that, like, the Vanderbilts, the Kentuckys, the South Carolinas, Missouris, even teams that hadn't had that prestige time on prime time are now going to get – Kentucky's actually got 2 primetime games now on ABC this year. They got South Carolina and they got
2
Georgia.
of the first 3 games.
2 of the first 3, and the first one's on the SEC network with Southern Miss. So, but teams that have not had that spotlight, now they're getting the chance to be in the spotlight like some of the Big Ten teams were when they was in the Big Ten, and ABC had their games on ABC, which now the Big Ten has moved on to to CBS, which that's the one thing that I dislike because I miss the SEC on CBS. But as times change, you got to change, and that's just part of the world, and that's just the way it is. So,
but they may need to go to the 9-game schedule here to bump their revenue, so they don't have quite so big of a cut.
No, I agree.
And then another thing that come out, Greg Sankey has put a price tag on what you will make if you make the college football playoff. So, opening round, if you make those 4 games, because you got 4 teams that are having a bye, okay, in that opening round, if you make those 4 games, those 8 teams, if you're an SEC team, you will get $3 million for just making the 12 teams.
That's pretty good, ain't it?
Okay. Now, if you win that game and play in the quarterfinal round, you get $3.5 million. Okay. Yep. Then if you win that game and play in the semifinal round, you get $3.75 million. Then if you win that game and play in the finals, you get $4 million. So let me just explain to you. So if you play in each round and play for the national championship, this is just SEC now. They're the only ones that have announced, and each league can put their own price tag. If you're an SEC team and you play in each round and make the finals, you will gross over $14 million extra dollars for your university in revenue.
Wouldn't you like to have that much money?
That's not a bad price tag, is it?
No, it's not.
$14.25 million to be exact.
Yep.
It pays to deliver in the SEC is all I'm going to say. This new 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
If you got 5 SEC teams in there, they're all getting $3 million a piece just to make it.
Yep.
And then you get more each step of the way. That's a pretty nice revenue share right there.
It is price tag too. Yep.
Yeah. So I had to put them in there. There are lots of other things, John. Anything else sports news-wise, college news-wise that you want to throw in there? We've had Jackson Robinson finally yesterday announced that he's coming back to coming back to college and going to play for Kentucky. Something I had said 6 weeks ago. But it's
the NBA. The NBA Finals is coming up. The Celtics are playing the Mavs. If many haven't watched the whole NBA playoffs, the Mavs have really shocked a lot of people. Like they've been impressed because early in the year they weren't really that great, and then they finally turned it on when it counted. And I think the PJ Washington trade helped them a lot. It did, and Luka, and then they got Kyrie Irving. So they're a really fun team to watch. The Celtics are good. They got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Al Horford's still playing.
hope that it is a good series because the last two were terrible. Sweep and a 4-1.
If I recall correctly, isn't Al Horford still playing?
Yeah, he's on the Celtics.
Yeah, he still plays
there.
for the Celtics. Yeah. He's an older veteran.
He's been playing more because Porzingis or whatever his name is has been out.
Yeah, has been out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and after that, there's really nothing. I know the SEC media days are coming up. Today we got the opportunity to see some gameplay for college football 25, which absolutely blew my mind. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe this is a Madden reskin that everybody's kind of flopping around about. This is like to the ends of the details that they do. It's just really impressive to see how EA Sports did all this and how they brought everything together. It's just impressive. And we're probably going to get more stuff come out in June.
It has taken them about 18 months to get this game together.
Yeah, and you know, they got the stadium pulse meter back. They got the way the running backs do their cuts. The passing game is new. They got meters for kicking. There's a lot of new things with the kicking game. My goodness, man, this game looks to be absolutely insane to me. And, you know, there'll be a lot of people missing cookouts after July 19th to play college football. There'll be a lot of people that will.
Okay, timeout. John, you haven't told me all show long. The logo in the top right-hand corner has been somebody else's the entire show. I just changed it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have told me. Said, hey,
I said there was a sign on the thing. I didn't know I didn't know what it was. Like had no idea.
I didn't know. Well, you said it was in your frame. Okay, never mind. I thought you was talking about
it was in my frame. It was in my frame of looking, and I was like, well, what is this? Like, so
I thought you meant on your picture.
Oh no, but anyways,
never mind.
The game looks to be fun. There's going to be a lot of things happening with it. Kurt Herbstreit did the play-by-play of it today, where he did a deep dive of the gameplay. Should be a lot more stuff coming out. A lot of things are on their actual website, EA Sports. They broke down the home field advantage. I got to see a little bit of the home field advantage today with Penn State and Georgia. Folks, there'll be a lot of people sitting and losing sleep playing this game for probably the next 6-7 months. So,
including John, because I'm going to have to stay on him to make sure he's ready to actually talk about the real sports and not talk about what's going on EA Sports.
Yeah.
He's going to be wanting to talk about that season, what's going on in his world.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all I got. There ain't nothing else, Brad. So.
All right, guys, we will see you on Sunday with John Roberts, most likely. He is our baseball guy normally, and we will do a weekend wrap-up with him on Sunday afternoon. A lot of these games, and, the final by then, or at least probably about half of them by the time we come on. There will probably still be some playing in the afternoon, early evening on Sunday, but we will wrap up everything that we can on these baseball regions that we went over with John Roberts. He is our
because there'll still be games going on while y'all are.
Yeah, there'll be some games still going on. John Roberts is our baseball guru.
Yeah.
He covers Auburn baseball, and he is our baseball guru here at College Sportscast. So he's going to help me on Sunday kind of wrap this up and hopefully wrap the regions up. I know there may be a few regions here that's still left to play, or at least have a game that is going on and not finished yet when we're on the air. But we will do our best to wrap up all that we can on Sunday.
Brad is your college basketball guru, and I'm your college football guru.
Yeah. So, here at College Sportscast, so we are excited to have John on.
We have different gurus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're excited to have John Roberts on here with us on Sunday. And he follows the 11.7 podcast and friends with them a little bit. And, he's been a baseball guy most of his life. So was went to Auburn and was part of the managers, baseball teams and stuff when he was there. So we look forward to him being on with us and kind of wrapping up the regions weekend of the NCAA baseball tournament. Like I said, when this weekend started today at noon with 64 teams, when this weekend is finished, we are going to be basically at the Sweet 16. There's going to be 16 teams left by the close of Sunday. So we will wrap things up the best we can, and we will see you on Sunday, guys.
Have a
good one.